G'day, Dr. Teddy. And Patrick Rodriguez. I can never pronounce that name. Yeah, it's not going to be a very interesting stream, sorry folks, but, well, this actually, wait, this is liquid damaged. Oh well. I'm sure I'll still do the job. It's been so long since I've done a 4S that I'm wondering whether I'll even be able to remember where all the screws go. Looks like I put the battery in this a while ago. It definitely looks like the person's been thrown around in the water. Like muddy concrete water or something. Oh well. Really? Oh well, that was lucky of me. Very lucky. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're 2.6 and you're 2.7. Let's say it's been about probably a month and a half since I've done a 4S. Oh, I can never remember which. Okay, well, bottom can go to bottom. Brain's getting filled up with too many other things that it has to push out not so frequently used things. Hey Matthew. Yeah, I know it's a bit unusual doing a 4S. I very occasionally also get a 4, but for the most part, the 4S is now pretty much the floor of where jobs go. There's still a lot of people that use them around here because they've got good reception quality, and obviously they're quite robust. So yeah, they're a popular choice still. I suppose it depends on what area you're in, whether you'll get them or not. Like I said, I live in a rural area, and the 4S was, in spite of the antenna holding it wrong issues, still has a better quality reception than the more recent phones. Certainly, yeah, I mean, I got into doing iPhone repairs around about the time the 4S was launched. So I certainly did quite a lot of them. I remember being quite, how could you say, quite overwhelmed by the number of screws and all the steps that had to be done at the time. Now it's something you pretty much do in your sleep. Not to say you can't mess it up. I do fix up a number of the Wi-Fi connectors on the boards. I get some people who have tried changing them or something, and they knock off the connector or the little filter that's next to it. Mind you, I haven't done one since I've had the microscope. All the ones I did before I had to do just through normal, use my eyes and taking photos with the camera to try and get the macro shot zoom so I could check to see whether things were right. And if everything was okay, I'd go ahead with it. It was a lot harder back then. Now with all the microscopes and the micro soldering gear, it's a trivial matter. Watching from Central, oh yes, that's right. Well, it's not long reach. You're in Colin? No. I'm going to give up. You can tell me what town you're in. I've forgotten. You're the bad spudger. Where's my good spudger? There it is. Oldest I've worked on is a 5S up to date. Okay. So a lot of people have been asking me about my spudgers, like trying to get me new ones or whatever. But let's see if I can show you the difference here. So this is the really good one. You see it's got a slightly sort of more matte silver finish. And this is the one that typically comes whenever I try to buy a replacement for that one. And it's got this chromed look. And also the thickness of the blades is quite substantially different. Let's go into the microscope. Okay. Alright, so this is the good one, the one that I don't want to give up. And this is the dodgy one. And you can see on this, see how it's chipping away there? So the chrome layer is coming off or something. You can see that this one has plenty of chips in it, but you can see it's a homogeneous metal. It's there's no layering on it. So that's why this one's hard to find. Well, I've never been able to get a replacement, and these ones are everywhere. Blackwater. I don't know where Blackwater is. Now I'm going to have to Google that. Yeah, I was getting a bit bored. I haven't been able to catch a proper Lewis Rossman stream in a while. And Chris Long hasn't streamed in ages because of his being a parent. And Jason from SDS doesn't stream because it's just not practical for him. So I thought, oh well, I better do the right thing and do a stream myself. I did catch the stream of Lewis walking around in Canada. I'm kind of curious to see whether he's going to get back to New York and actually have a shop still, or whether his 4.5 star rating is going to become a 1 star rating. Hey Bobby. I see Gustavo was in there. I didn't see you there, Gustavo. Ah. Really? You're perfectly stuck there? I'm guessing I must have replaced the screen in the past and put a new home button on it, because this one is really well stuck. Far better stuck than what you'd expect. Let's get some heat treatment. In terms of time economics, these are not really very profitable phones at all. Not at all. So they take longer than all the rest of them, and you can't charge as much as the rest of them. Yow, that's hot. Hey Joshua. So I missed the live stream at the shop today for Rossman repair, and there was a bit of talk about someone's going to get fired. I mean, I saw the exploding air conditioner, I think, but something else happened, or is it just a general disaster? Or is it all just lies and everything's fine? Because I don't really feel like going through 2.5 hours of video footage just to catch what's happening. Yeah, those pads are ruined. Hey Sonia, nice to see you. And then after this, it's back to doing more coding with Flexboard View. Gotta try and add more features, gotta keep adding stuff, because the new and exciting thrill kind of wears off pretty quickly, and people just sort of go, yeah, boring, seen that before. So you gotta keep adding features for a while, just to get people to keep buying it. I'm gonna have to take these screws out. So the feature I've just added earlier this morning was so that you can set the position and the size of the windows and have it permanently kept. Because I noticed on a couple of streams, people will uh, split their 1920 1080 HD screen into half, with half of it showing the board view and half of it showing the PDF. So I thought, yeah, save having to manually set that up every time. I'll just make it so you can punch in the figures you want. This has been difficult because these tabs have blown out the side. Why are you so... No, this is ridiculous. Something's stopping this. I'm guessing it's actually the camera. Yep, it is. The camera plastic. Just a coup while Lewis is out of town. Oh, okay. Well, I hope so. Yeah, normally I never have any dramas with these 4S screens. What the heck's going on here? Oh, finally. When it's not on live stream, it's just in and out. When it's on live stream, it's disaster. The professor, in terms of getting access to the files to use in Flexboard View, or Open Board View, whichever one you end up going for, it's not really that hard. You just got to know where to look. One of the more popular starting sites is badcaps.net, and from there you can pretty much find your way around to everything else. It's almost like this screen is fractionally too wide. Yeah, I can see there. So there certainly doesn't seem to be anything obstructing it. You can also buy the board, the schematics and the board views easy enough too from other places. Try that again. You did not just do that. You just did a total newbie thing. You freaking well did. Yep, that's been ruined it. See, Lewis just popped up and he spotted a rabbit. Someone tell him to stop live streaming now. If you're wondering what happened, I did the complete noob thing where the fold and the flex got caught on the frame, and then I was getting too frustrated with it and I put a slight tear into it. That's probably only the second one I've ever done that to, ever. And naturally it's all on live stream. Fantastic. Good thing they're cheap now. I think that frame might have been just very slightly oversized or something, because this one just went in how it should. That's my excuse. I'm sticking with it. Hey, Cradgy, you caught an Australian in the wild. Bloomin' oath you did, mate. Bloomin' oath. So, anyone know how to quickly get about $20,000 legally? Haha. Oh, gee. Try and decide if I should buy this shed that we've spotted. And the shed is around about 40 by 40 foot. And it has a 20 by 40 foot awning on it. It's on about an acre and a half of land. It does have internet, town, water and power. The only trouble is it's got you got to have your own septic system on there, which I'm not really keen on. The other problem is that the shed, being a shed in summer, even though it's insulated in the roof is around about 5 meters up. It's still going to get bloomin' hot in there. It's got a proper bathroom, toilet, and that's about it. So at least the important things are covered. But then I'd have to build my office within it. I'd probably do about in terms of meters, around about a 3 or 4 by 8 meter office or something like that. Anyway, that's the theory. Just on decide whether I should buy it and go for it, or whether I should languish here, and yeah, choices. The rabbit is taking a crap. Went to tell Lewis to stop streaming at the same time as you. What did he say? I mean, really? Watching a rabbit take a crap? That's what his experience of Canada's going to be? Oh well. Shouldn't you be harassing some Rockies or something? What do you call those? What do you call those guys that wear the fancy pants and all that stuff, and I put the wrong screw in the wrong place, but it's okay. It's only a same size screw. Mounties or whatever they are. Shouldn't he be harassing one of them? Kind of like people harass the Royal Guards or something like that in England. Try and make a Mountie get upset at you. Hey, Greg. Ah, for goodness sake, This is what happens when you don't do a 4S for 6 months. You become bad at it. Yeah, but bunnies are cute. I'll give them that. We get them around here. Fortunately, I shouldn't say fortunately, but they're usually not too messed up around here. In other places in Australia, they're a little risky because they've got the myxomatosis disease, which of course keeps their numbers down because obviously rabbits are not native Australian animals and they create all manner of drama. With that said, it's not a pretty sight seeing a poor rabbit suffering from myxomatosis. It would be nice if there was a different way of going about it, but I guess it's sort of like they didn't have much choice. $75. What's worse is I'm missing out. Oh. And I'm not getting to tell Lewis to shill me. And as a bonus, I'm probably going to get this wrong and have to pull it apart again. Or I'm going to find out that this screen is dodgy and I'm going to have to take it out. That was always the which reminds me I better check something. Hallelujah, there was a mesh in the earpiece already. How many of you people out there have put together an iPhone 4S or a 4 only to find that you forgot to put the ear mesh in? Or you forgot to put the home button on? Because I know I certainly did plenty of times. And it was always with the customers that needed the job now, which is half the reason why you forget these things, because you're under the pressure. What about the toad problem? Yes, the toads are a major ecological issue here. We still don't have, I think there's only 2, maybe 3 creatures that can consume the toads without death. One of them is the keelback snake, and we just don't have enough of those keelback snakes. And unfortunately, a lot of the time people see them and kill them, even though they're non-venomous and they're doing things for us. But like, people see the snake, they kill it. But yeah, toads are a major problem. For a long time they thought they wouldn't get down south or cross the desert or anything like that, but they did. Part of it's just simply because they're extremely durable animals. The other part of it is because the eggs and things like that would get on, they get attached to trucks or things like that. And so they'd go interstate. And once they hit the wet tropical monsoonal areas of Kakadu National Park and places like that, it was, lost half my fingertip there. Yeah, it was not a good outcome. Where's my 2.7? Whoop. Why didn't anyone stop me? I didn't put in the camera gold finger. DEFCON, yeah, I've had that as well. You get those replacement flexes and they've got something wrong with them still. It's extraordinarily frustrating. And I love it how they try to sell it off as new flex, and it's like, well, it's clearly been pulled from a existing phone. Yeah, so you may as well just be honest about it and say, yeah, this is a pull job, because there's certainly nothing new about them, other than the fact that they might have gone through an ultrasonic cleaner if you're lucky. And they go and put the stickers back on. The best of all is when they put the sticker on top of the old partially ripped off sticker that was there, which makes it thicker, which means it doesn't sit quite as cleanly in the phone. I'll be very glad when I no longer am required to have to work on iPhones. In fact, the other day I had a batch of iPhones come in for things like backlight rebuilds and stuff like that. And I'll be honest, I actually didn't want to. I just didn't do them in the end. I just said no, I'm not going to do this. I found that I'm very happy with doing MacBooks, PC laptops, that sort of thing, and yeah, the occasional screen repair. But when it comes to the iPhone electronics repairs, I'm just not. It's just not for me. I'll do tri-styles, stuff like that, but I think I'll leave it to people like Jessa, Jason, Chris to do that sort of thing on a daily basis. Maybe it's easier if you do it on a daily basis, but once I start seeing that underfill and everything, I'm like, oh no. Like I said, it's just I don't feel it. I don't feel like it's the right option for me. I'd rather put my time and efforts into writing software to make it easier for other people to fix that stuff. Okay, I think we're at the end. If you can't. Yeah, damn it. It's the worst thing about dealing with Lewis is that he's always got a far more humorous, witty response to anything you can try and lob at him. Yeah, I would not like to. What am I doing here? I would not like to be in a sort of comic skit or something like that with him, because he'd just beat the pants off me every time. Maybe if it was a competition on who could be the most facetious, I might have a chance there. Or if it's yelling at bad software testers, then I'd definitely win there. Because Lewis is terrible. I don't even have to be funny about that, he's just terrible. It's like I'll wake up to a stream one morning and I'll see he's having dramas with the software. And I say, okay, I'll get that fixed. And he's barking mad about it, complaining, everything like that. And I get it fixed in a couple of hours, and then it takes a month for him to update it. It's like, you're killing me, man. You're the worst kind of tester. You make a lot of noise about the faults, but you won't go and update the things. So what if updating something to fix one bug creates 3 more bugs? That's irrelevant. Looks like we've got a phone running. Oh my goodness, Kopaz is here. Kopaz, what are you going to do if your last day is at work? And did you guys blow up the air conditioner? What was that explosion the other day? At least the screen works. I can't believe I tore that one. Like I said, I've been doing this, what, more than 6 years now, I think? I can't remember. And that is torn screen number 2. Unbelievable. It makes me have to try and forgive Lewis for doing crappy SMC reballing jobs. Or rather, taking forever to do them. Alright, that's alive. Alright, no, that works. And my profit out of that is probably 0 because I busted up the second screen. Yeah, I'll show you where the... You'll all recognize this once it's... You can see the zoom, you've got the zoom. Oh, very good. Yeah, the trouble is with the PDF viewer, like some people prefer with the zoom on the wheel by default, and others prefer it by control zoom. There we go. See, that's what happened. A bloody tear. I don't know if that's fatal or not, that one. But as far as I'm concerned, that's dead. So I can't see any traces, but there must be. Yeah, so there you go. Second one in my time doing this job. Brilliant. So, not happy about that, but it goes in the bin. No point crying too much over it. Alright, I'm going to show something here. Kopaz. Yeah, this is... What have we got here? Hey, Paul. Alright, this is the... Oh, man, there's no... Sorry, guys. Alright, this is the SSD module of that 820.007.875. So that's what I have to try and get the data off, maybe, if the customer... Who knows if it's dead or not? I don't know. But... Let's see, let's go. But this is why. I mean, look at that. That's all the G3 hot area. It's complete. So that whole layer is just lifting up. And then on the other side, so this is exactly over the top of it. There's no way... You couldn't pay me to repair this. I'm just not going to do it. And then there's all the liquid damage in there. So like all the caps. It's on the other side too. Those caps are all gone too. I mean, they're not dead, I'd say, but yeah, it's a bit of a mess. The section over here isn't too bad. So as a donor board, it might be okay, but chances are everything that's important is probably dead. It's just not worth it. So yeah, I just call it a no fix on that one. Oh, I don't know what happened to it, but all I know is... Oh, well, yeah, like I said, it's liquid damaged. I didn't think it was quite so bad from the top because I was just looking at it like this. And as a habit, I don't generally like to pull apart things until I've got the replacement parts that I want. So for a couple of weeks, it's been sitting around while I waited for my donor to arrive. And yeah, I kind of think the donor looks better than... at least someone was kind enough and made sure all the chips were good. So once the donor arrived and I pulled it out, I realized it was a bit of a disaster. And what is the deal with this being the battery connector now? I mean, how cheap can Apple go? I mean, why are they doing it this way? I thought it was just a grounding tab initially, and then I realized no, it's actually, according to the board view, everything under here is the G3 Hot, the battery. So yeah, that was a bit of a shocker. Yeah. Hey James. Yeah, I'm not touching this one. Like I said, hopefully the let's, let's have, hopefully the module is okay. I'm not even. I can see liquid damage on it. Yeah, maybe I should actually. Can this come off? Yep, I can. Let's have a look at that. Come on. Well, that looks okay actually. That side. In spite of the fact that it's got this splash there. Mind you, that could have been from me with the alcohol. There's a bit of discoloration there. I think there's a pretty good chance that should be alive still, unless it's taken a shock through the power rails. Nope, someone's phone getting all excited. So yeah, I'll just have to find a machine that can take that. And hopefully the person can get their information back. Yeah. So I have to fly over and install updates on Lewis' computer. Yeah, I've threatened him with that. He's just lucky I don't like flying. And yeah, I'm just lazy really, that's what it comes down to. Updated the 15-inch MacBooks, all touch bar now. Oh, they're all touch bar now? Oh, that's going to suck. Fully loaded i9. Why do they... The i9 I don't really understand. And the X series, 7 series chips, that was a bit of a marketing sort of comical event for me, because I'm thinking, well, they've got this old stock of the 7 series chips, and what are they doing with them? They just like put a big X on them or something, and I guess they sort of went through and found which ones could take even higher clock speeds or whatever, and boxed them up as something extra special. But then the 8th generation Coffee Lake came out, and it's like, what's the point of buying the 7th generation? I'm surprised one will want to fix a 4S. Well, as I was saying earlier, Paul, a lot of people like these because the compact size, they fit in the pocket, and they're tough. Yeah, they're really tough little buggers. It's hard to break the boards on these, I've found. On the other hand, I've got the 5s in and whatnot. People have driven over them and they've folded them. And, it causes a lot of breakages. And yeah, it's the reception quality more than anything else too. And the fact that these fit in the pocket. People put them in their pockets. That's just asking to smash the screens. So, went all 15-inch touch bars at 13. No, I don't really know. I haven't looked at the full release. But I don't keep up with a lot of these things. Alright, gloves are off. Alright, I'm going to go back to programming. I've got to work on... I want to work on a jobs system for Flexboard View, whereby you load up your board and your schematic, and you start a new job. And then what happens is, as you replace parts or measure parts on the board, you mark it on the Flexboard View. Like, right-click on, say, I don't know, the SMC, and select SMC replaced or rebuild or something like that. And you just do that with the as your job progresses. And then when you're finished, it will give you the summary of like all the things you've done to that board, and you can just copy that off to whatever management system you're using for your invoicing and things like that. I'm doing it because I found myself that, excuse me, I found myself that after I'd worked on a board, I'd go to write up the invoice, and half the time I'm thinking, oh, what did I do with that? Even though it might have been half an hour ago. So I figure if I can do it at the time while I'm going through the board view, it may be easier. It's one of those things where I'm just going to have to code it up, try it. It may or may not work. People will often say to me, "You should add this feature. It will be, it'll make all the difference. Millions of people will buy this." I'm sort of being a bit over the top there, and most of the time I find that no one really knows what it's going to be like. There have been far too many times in my life I have spent too long coding a feature that was supposedly open the market up, and it ends up with one sale because of that extra feature. So when people come to me with saying, you should do this, you should do that, it's like I just sort of go, I don't think so. It's like, unless it's a truly compelling feature. Most of the time, these one-off features just end up accumulating deep in the menu somewhere, and no one ever uses it, or no one's even aware of it half the time. So I do spend a lot of time writing up things and finding that it just isn't a winner. And every now and then there's something that you write that you wasn't expecting, or you were not expecting to be a key thing, and everyone ends up using it. So those who seem to profess that they know what the right thing for you to code is, so I don't really believe in it. I don't think really many people know exactly what are the winning features. I mean, if they did, then they'd be, I don't know, selling their services or something. I don't know. Most of the time, it's just a case of someone wants a particular feature, or they think they want it, and so they're going to try and sell it to you to make you do all the hard work. So new POS will be nice. A new POS. Now, Paul, when you say POS, do you mean piece of crap, or do you mean point of sale? It could be either way. Then again, a lot of point of sales are piece of crap. So I wrote software for CB radio frequency conversions to simulate the circuitry and allow testing of the frequencies and aided troubleshooting. Is that the 27 megahertz, 11 meter type band, or are you talking about the new UHF stuff? Either way, RF electronics, that's a black magic field. I've tried a few times to get into RF electronics. I think a lot of people, when they first start out with electronics, they're drawn to the appeal of the magic of radio frequency stuff. But I don't know, half of them seem to be cut and try type people, and they manage to work their way around these things. And the other half are mathematical geniuses or something, and they can work it out. For me, I find microcontrollers and digital I/O interfacing is about where my limit is. My brain does not like the extended calculus required to properly do RF. So I can scan, point of sales, so I can scan parts at you. I could do Bitcoin mining. No, I could not do Bitcoin mining. No, really. I have a hard enough time just getting the packages to build, to run without needing people to manually install dependencies with Flexboard View. I think I would be doomed if I tried to do something with Bitcoin mining. Hundreds would be about the limit of it. It's surprisingly how small the market can be. So you look at Lewis's channel, saying you've got 400,000 viewers. My typical ratio tends to be about 1 in 1,000 is potentially a viable customer, so that would leave me about 400 customers, and that's around about where things are heading at this point. Feature design is a bit of a pain now, and the other thing with feature design is sometimes you create something, and while you're creating it, you sort of take shortcuts or you hard code certain things, and then people actually jump onto that feature and start using it so much that you're then trapped and you cannot roll back and do it properly, as it were. And so you have to just keep going forward with your limited design until eventually the big pain becomes too much and you have to do a complete rewrite. That is something that happens far too often. Any luck with the iPhone software? Cues, I did hear something rattle off the back of a truck the other day, so I'll send you a message about where I heard that truck rattling and something fell off. I made 11.3K on ABC Channel 7 backup transmitter yesterday. Gee, what are they using? Great big. It's about what my power bill for low power. They using one of those massive tube transmitters? Is that AM or FM or? I think ZXW just had a big update with PDF integration. Now I think ultimately we're still probably going to end up always using ZXW because I can't get my hands on enough of the board views. Technically the software is fine, but getting the data is the problem, which is why once I'm content with where the Flex board view is, I have to then go and start a new project to be able to let us create board views as a community. So that's the sort of thing that's going to happen after I've got Flex board view sorted, and probably after I've got the whole house situation sorted. Future-proofing can certainly be tricky. You spend way too much time trying to think ahead, also known as daydreaming. It is very tricky to do the future-proofing. I think you may be able to push it a little above the level of just pure chance, but for the most part, it really does seem to be just chance. So you can select the phase lock loop used for the radio intermediate frequencies, and it shows the circuit design, tells you what frequency should be. Okay, so it's a bit of math going on behind there, that's for sure. You should set up the crowdsource so we can help. Well, that's the plan. I'm trying to decide how to do it, because the big problem is, how do you validate or trust the data being contributed? One way is you can simply say there's a select group of people who can contribute, but then you lose the advantage of the crowdsourcing being that you can have 10,000 people all do one net or one part each, and your board view is done. But then how good or bad is that going to be? The other is how to make it so that you want to be able to dynamically update it. So you're going to need something like Git or other downloading system that's happening, which means then you have to have a central repository or maybe a distributed one. The downside or the danger there is that we're not really supposed to be doing the intellectual property issue. And so I could sort of get my hand slapped a little bit over that. So I don't know, I haven't decided yet. Get phone daily, almost daily, begging fly somewhere to fix them. It's 25 kilowatt VHF TV transmitter. Oh. Have you ever got radiation burns from those things? I imagine if you happen to be in its presence at the time that it was turned on and transmitting, that could be a little bit dangerous. I have seen some people suffer some pretty nasty RF burns. Usually when they're messing around with their home ham system and they've just put like a 1 or 2 kilowatt transmitter on it and they got on the wrong end of the wire. So probably should leave it at that. Get out of here, go do some work, try to make some more money, because that's what makes the world turn. Always got to get more money. Anyway, that's work. So thank you all for watching. For those that persisted beyond, well, I should say those that persisted in spite of the rabbit pooping that Lewis was recording. So I'll leave it with that. I'll see you all next time.